If you've got a commander deck right now that you love but is struggling from clunkiness or you might think isn't really that good, before you take that deck apart, let's talk about some of the cards that can help smooth out that gameplay experience, and let's see if one of these 8 cards that I'm going to be featuring in today's video can help solve some of the problems of clunky opening hands or decks that can inconsistently hit their land drops. And I promise you, one of these cards is gonna help you solve the problem of your deck not running smoothly on game night. Smoothers are the little 1 and 2 drop spells that are just going to help your deck run smoother every game. These cards on paper are very underwhelming, but they are the glue that helps you go find the cards you need to win the game. To be able to consistently hit your land drops, to be able to open the game with having 2 or 3 lands on the board, and have additional upside that helps you in the mid and the late game, making sure that you can be more consistent and have smoother games every time you play your commander deck. So if you needed a signpost card that defined what a smoother is in commander, Bushwhack is, in my opinion, the best example of what this category of cards can do for your deck. This 1 mana spell lets you either go look for a basic and put it into your hand, or choose a creature you control and have it fight a target creature an opponent controls. So let's talk about all of the ways that this 1 mana spell can really have an impact on your games. Having cards like Bushwhack in your opening hand smooth out that first 3 turns and let you be able to play your deck unimpeded by not hitting your land drop for the turn. Next, as we go into turns 4, 5, and 6, Bushwhack then changes into a card that has dual flexibility. If we want to, we could go get that basic land and ensure that we hit our land drop for turn, but if we're doing well and we have all the lands we need, we could use Bushwhack's second ability to look at a creature that's on our opponent's board and say, you know what, we're gonna use this opportunity to remove some of our opponent's threats. And towards the late game, one of the most underappreciated ways to win more games of Commander is to play your land drop consistently every single turn. It may not sound like the craziest hack you've ever heard, but being able to consistently hit your land every single turn for 8 to 12 turns in a row is going to put you at a significantly greater advantage than your opponents who are not playing their land every single turn, because they're not hitting their land drops and they're not drawing into their lands and they're not playing these cards that are helping them be more consistent. The next card on our list is Azorius Charm. This 2 mana instant is an extremely flexible spell that can help you in all stages of the game. Its first ability lets us give lifelink to all of the creatures on our board until the end of the turn, giving us the ability to have a huge swing if it's in the late game and we have a creatures focused deck. Next, it allows us to pay 2 mana and draw a card. Or its last option is to put a target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. Azorius Charm is a great example of a smoother. In your opening hand between turns 1 and 3, this is pay 2 mana, draw a card. If you need to ensure you hit your land drop for turn, you can pay 2 mana, look at the next card on your library and see, is that a land? If you have nothing better to do on turns 4 and 5, we could also use it to draw more cards, but that's the point in the game where we're going to want to look at using this as a removal spell to get rid of an attacking or blocking creature. And lastly, as a finisher, this card can be such a huge swing in life gain that it really helps you run away and close out more games. It's not going to definitively end your opponent's game, but it is going to put you at a significant advantage and swing the pendulum in your favor. In my opinion, this is a great card that works in all stages of the game and helps you smooth out the way your deck is built and how it's going to perform in your commander games. Our next card in this list of our top 8 smoothers is Planar Genesis. Now, this card allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you can put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't, put a card from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. This allows you to do so many flexible things in Commander. Of course, it is a Simic ramp piece. It allows us to look at 4 cards and put a land onto the battlefield. But this also allows us to do so many more unique things. It allows us to dig a little bit deeper in the late game to find our late game finishers. In the mid game, it lets us dig a little bit deeper to find our removal, our card draw, or other synergy pieces. And in the opening hand, not only is it a ramp spell, but we could also just put that land in our hand so that we can play it as our land for turn. And if you're running green and blue in your decks, you should definitely be looking at this flexible ramp spell that serves as another card that can help smooth out your gameplay experience. Now, there are a lot of instants and sorceries on this list, but there's creatures too that can help us in our opening hand and also smooth out our game plan. And Charming Prince is a great example of this. White doesn't have a lot of options when it comes to these smoother cards, but Charming Prince is a really good example of a card that matters and works in all stages of the game. In our opening hand, turns 1 through 3, this is going to help us by scrying and letting us look at the top of the library to ensure that we can hit our lands. Then, as we're going into the mid game, if we need to gain back a little bit of incidental life, or we want to flicker one of our creatures as part of our synergy, we have the ability to double down on those enter the battlefield effects. And then to close out games, we can ensure that either scrying to dig deeper and find our finishers, or gaining back a little bit of life if we're really on the back foot and need to get back into the game. A little burst of incidental life gain is something that you were going to really wish you had access to. So trust me, Charming Prince is one of those cards, beginning, middle, and end of games, is gonna help smooth out your experience and make your decks more consistent. Thirsting Roots is our next smoother and has been an overperformer for me. This is one of those cards. Again, these are cards that don't seem very powerful on paper. They are powerful in the context of being a part of a deck that has these synergies in it. In a +1/+1 counters deck, or any counters deck that cares about having more counters put on our creatures, this is one of those spells where you're gonna end up wishing that you had one more land to play so you could hit your Evolution Witness. Or you've gotta have one more land in the hand so you can hit your third color in your opening. But in the late game, you would love to be able to add another shield counter onto all your creatures in a deck that cares about shield counters. Or you would love to be able to proliferate all of your creatures one more time because that's the amount of power you need to swing out and go for the win. This is just one of those little cards. It's not going to be the one that wins you the game, but it's gonna be the one that helps you get to where you're trying to go. And that's what these cards are all about. This is a very good example, in my opinion, of the perfect kind of smoother. Evolution Charm is one of our heaviest hitters in this category. When we're looking at casual commander decks, flexibility is king. A spell that has the ability to do multiple things in multiple scenarios gives you the ability to do what's right in your particular situation. The higher the power level, the less types of commanders you're gonna see. But in the lower brackets, we're talking bracket 2 and bracket 3, you could see just about any kind of commander. And the flexibility of a card like Evolution Charm is going to give you that opportunity to do the right thing and that right moment. In your early game, it's got the ability to go get basic lands, and that's the primary point that these cards have. But as the game moves forward, we have the ability to do even more. We can return a target creature from our graveyard to our hand. Having a regrowth effect, in addition to just being able to hit our lands, is a fantastic ability. It's a dual purpose card. But it has even more power in the fact that it can give one of our creatures flying until the end of the turn. Imagine you've been spending the entire game building up a giant creature, and all you need to do is give it evasion to go swing over the top of one of your opponent's boards. This is a perfect smoother. It honestly has power early, middle, and late game, and is one of those cards that you should seriously be running in more of your green decks. Demand Answers is one of my favorite card draw spells that we have access to in Commander, and I love this card in my opening hands, It allows you to either discard something you don't need and draw 2 cards so that you can draw into your land drops. In the mid game, if we're in an artifact focused deck, we can sacrifice artifacts on our board, so this becomes card advantage instead of card selection. And then towards the late game, there are a ton of artifact themed decks that would care about sacrificing those artifacts and putting them back in the graveyard. Also, just being able to dig a few cards deeper and find those finishers is a really underappreciated part that these cards play in our commander decks. Red has access to a ton of cards like this, but Demand Answers is my favorite. And this just keeps finding its way into decks. Currently, it's in my Vihan Goldwaker deck. It helps smooth out my opening hands, it helps get me to my late game finishers, and it also has additional synergies with an artifact-focused deck. And last, but certainly not least, is Dig Up. For 1 green, we can go search our library for a basic and put it in our hand, but if we wait till later in the game and pay its full cost for its cleave cost, this just turns into an outright tutor. Sure, it's overcosted compared to cards like Vampiric Tutor and Demonic Tutor in these colors, but that doesn't change the fact that this card has flexibility in all stages of the game and can be a great option for bracket 2 and bracket 3 decks in Golgari colors. In your opening hand, this goes and gets you a basic. But towards the late game, when you are trying to find that card to go end the game, this is a card that will literally let you go get the exact card you are looking for. To me, there are a lot of players who may feel like their decks don't work, and they may feel like their commander or the cards in the 99 aren't good. But really what they're lacking are cards like these that not only go and help you get your basic lands, help you to dig a little bit deeper in your deck, but many of them have a through line with the synergies that your deck is already looking for that could help your deck perform better and better with just a few swaps for some of these cards. You may be asking, I think these are great and I'm sold. I kind of want to add some of these to my decks. How many smoothers should your commander deck be running? In my opinion, you should run a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3 of these cards in your deck. Obviously seasoned to taste. If you have a deck that synergizes with more of them, by all means. But in my opinion, smoothers are like salt. You gotta have a little bit of it to make our dish taste better, but too much can start to make it taste bad. And you want to make sure that your deck is not filled with only these cards. These do not replace your card draw spells. These do not replace your synergy spells. And they most certainly don't replace your lands. What they replace in your deck are some of your underperformers, cards that maybe don't work directly with your synergy. But what they do is they help make your games more consistent, which ends up making your games more fun. Nobody likes to sit on the sideline not hitting their land draw for turn, wishing they can play their commander, wishing they could play a round of commander, and not able to do it because they don't have cards like these that help them do the little things that make every game of commander more consistent and more fun. Well, if 8 of these wasn't enough for you, I actually have in the video description a link to my Mox field where I have created a package that has not just these 8 smoothers, but an entire list of currently 25 different cards that you can use early, middle, and late game to smooth out your deck. And I would love to hear from you in the comments section. What are some cards that fit into this category that we can add to this package on Moxfield? And also, the best thing you could do if you liked this video is to subscribe. I'm currently on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I can start doing things like live streaming and creating other content on the channel, providing you with additional perks and ways that we can interact here on this channel. So if you could, please subscribe. That would mean a lot. And with that, my name is Clear Reason. I'll see you next time.